Hello and welcome to another Deck Tech on this channel. And today I have the pleasure of introducing, or maybe not introducing, but welcoming my good friend Klas, who went undefeated 8-0 on the horse himself, Victor, today. Congratulations on your ProQuest win.
Thank you very much. It was I had a pleasure of playing the deck today with the nice altar that you did for me as well.
Yeah,
So I only have the horse, not the boy on top of it.
yeah, I will upload a picture of it as well to taking some credit for myself, even though I didn't even participate in today's ProQuest.
It is a very important part of playing Victor is playing that altar.
It gives me it sparks joy in me as well.
Yes.
But first of all, would you like to make an elevator pitch on what is Victor's thing? Why would you play a Victor in today's meta? Or to begin with, why would you play Victor in general and play in today's meta?
Yeah. They're very, very similar answers. Victor is great in a meta that is not heavy on decks like Verdance or um, Kano or stuff. If all decks in the meta want to attack once or twice per turn, uh, with and most decks don't run that many big attacks, Victor is a really good hero to play. He blocks really well. He drawing cards from blocking also gives you an advantage value wise over your opponents in almost every matchup. So as long as you can basically block 2 or 3 cards and send 2 or 3 cards at the opponent every turn, you're gonna be up value wise most of the time. And you also have the huge payoff with Visit Goldmane Estate and uh, Golden Sun sometimes, but just in general, Visit Goldmane Estate into attacks can be really backbreaking for most opponents. And today in this meta, today he fits really well since Verdance is gone, which was a bad matchup because you couldn't really deal with the combo things, or at least I couldn't deal with the combo versions, and just the heavy um, arcane damage in general. And KO is gone, which is you couldn't reliably win clashes into KO, which made your whole value proposition quite bad. So those two decks um, going away means Victor can really gallop freely in the meta.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's an interesting thing. Like he came out in heavy hitters quite a while back, and as far as I've known or seen Victor, he has had quite a few good matchups, but also like in every meta, there has been at least once, possibly even more, like 10% win matchups, like incredibly hard matchups.
Yes, like for example, Nu was for the longest time, both
Nu was
Nu and
awful.
Enigma were more or less impossible to beat.
Yeah, so Nu had this extra weird player blues mechanic.
Yeah,
Enigma is a board state hero.
yeah.
Gravy is a tough
And
one as well.
Gravy used to be really, really awful. It's still not a good matchup, but it used to be really awful. But now that you can clash against allies, it feels a lot better.
Mm.
So you can actually get some of your value proposition back. It's not just you're not playing basically a blank hero hero text box into the opponent anymore. So that's nice.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of things like coming together for Victor in the last couple of months. And I'm guessing this is just a guess since we haven't seen that much, but I'm guessing when Omens comes around and we get a new board state illusionist
Mm.
hero, Victor's gonna fade into irrelevance for a while again, and I'll be back to grinding, being
It,
0-3 in every tournament instead.
yeah, it might be true. But I mean, there is also, I would say he has gotten some support
Yes,
in like every set almost for a couple of
Yeah,
years now.
so, the Guardian Mastery Pack brought Clash of Bravado and Test of Iron. What's it called?
Iron Grip.
Test of Iron Grip.
Awful stuff.
Yeah, the I'm so used to calling it Test of Bullshit, but no, Test of Iron Grip and Clash of Bravado were really big for the deck. They unlock certain matchups very well. Um, he didn't get that much from Pen in general, but like some, it's more that the meta revolved into a place where he can be really where you can really use his strengths in a good way. There aren't that many hyper aggro decks that go all that wide. Like Syndra is a fairly decent matchup, but Raf Raf Syndra was quite awful because they could just outvalue you basically sometimes. So he's the bans that have been coming in the last couple of months has been good for Victor as well as like the heroes LLing.
Yep, makes
I'd say
sense.
the biggest hurdles in the meta right now is probably Mario. I was fortunate to win the only Mario I faced today, but it's the daggers are really the dagger builds of Mario can be really hard for Victor to deal with because you don't really know when to block correctly. It's not always obvious when to block.
No, and we're gonna get into it when we look at the deck list as well. But Victor usually doesn't run any, or at least not that many D-reacts, which is a big thing against Mario, because they have a lot of reaction speed damage. So it's a lot harder to deal with for Victor than like face up big numbers is usually fine, but reaction speed is tougher unless you have Test of Iron Grip.
It
Which can be
test
really,
a well-placed Test of Iron Grip can make all the difference in the matchup. But the Tarantula Toxin, if they play either Kiss of Death or just hit you with a Callister, it also makes it really hard to like value. Should I even bother blocking this or not? It's it can be quite a hard call sometimes.
yeah. And you can also, as a Mario player, you can also put your reactions in Arsenal, which makes you safe against Test of Iron Grip. I mean, there are ways to beat that for Mario as well, and I would still guess that is one of the worst matchups for Victor still, even though it's absolutely winnable.
Yeah, Mario and Gravy are some of the worst matchups, I'd say. Sometimes Ocilio can feel quite bad. I had good testing into Ocilio going into this, but I didn't face any Ocilios today, so I can't really say.
Well, should we jump into the deck list? See, here we go. So you would have to walk us through this, and I would suggest that if there are like obvious, a couple of cards is kind of obvious that like most, if not all, Victor list run those. But is there anything in particular with like your equipment suit that is unusual,
No,
or what?
the equipment suit is quite standard. Some people have started opting out of the Crown of Dominion altogether and running only Providence or only Balance or something like that. I still like having the Crown of Dominion in a lot of games, but I do take it out in quite a few matchups nowadays. I used to be I basically only run that headpiece, but in this list I also run Crown of Providence, and I think I used Crown of Providence in maybe 3 or 4 of today's games, something like that. 4, I think, of today's games. So it's you swap between. I swapped between Dominion and Providence quite a lot in this. Some people have been opting not to run Tunic at all. I'm skeptical about that, but some people just run like Tech Plate or something.
I mean, I can scroll down to your sideboard pieces. Here's the Crown of Providence, as you said. You decided to reuse. You run AB3,
Yes.
and you also run a side piece in form of shield beater.
Yeah, and Shield Beater was a very, very late addition. I put it in the deck last night uh, because I had a hard time dealing with Guardian Mirrors and Vincent, where I still clash, where it's the Miller's Grindstone can become quite bad quite quickly if you lose like the first clash and it gets a -1 counter on it. It's so much easier for the opponent to just block free instead of 4. And since I suspected quite a lot of Vincent players would show up, which was correct as well, I wanted to have a hammer that I could that didn't become worse if they happen to have a big card on top. So, and Shield Beater actually did quite a lot of work today. It was a good, because it allows you to also run the Aura Mages to have the extra gold from the shield piece.
Yeah, when you look at it, this seems like a two-hand weapon, but it's
Yeah,
actually a one-handed weapon
yeah,
with a big number down the left-hand side.
yeah. And I did run 3 Guardian Mirrors today, where I ran it, and it's always it's a quite good play pattern to just use Tunic, pitch blue, send 5 after blocking 3 cards. So it can be really great value.
Yeah, yeah. It's not fancy, but it's very efficient,
Yeah,
especially during longer games.
yeah. The one worry I had running into Jarl was that they would destroy my Tunic to make it a lot more awkward to use. But
Yeah.
I was lucky that it didn't happen in neither of the 2 Jarl games I ran today. My Tunic stayed alive the whole time.
Yeah. Okay. And you did run the tech plate as a side piece. When do
Yes,
you use this?
I use Tech Plate mostly into very aggressive decks where I don't run Pummel.
Okay.
So there would be like Dashayo, Katsu, Syndra, decks where I think that I'm gonna be blocking a lot of the time, and if like where I don't think I'll be sending CNC pummels. Basically, if I run Shelter, which is also in the board, I'm running Tech Plate.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So in those cases, the two pummels are put to the sideboard, and shelter gets to play around, and there is shelter and tech plate instead of tunic and pummels.
Yeah, and also in those matchups, I also put in the E-strikes instead of the 2 rouses,
Okay.
just
Yeah.
to block better.
Yeah.
Also,
Makes
E-strikes
sense.
are phenomenal arsenal targets.
Yeah. And they don't need big hands, which Rouse does.
It's just an overall great card.
Yeah.
I cut one E-strike to be able to run the shield beater. That was not a really thought through um, decision. It was just that I still wanted to have AB free in case I would run into any of our, because we have quite a few fairly decent Auxiliary players in Stockholm. So if I were to run into any of them, I wanted to be able to run AB free. But so I cut one E-strike. But I'm not sure how I'll develop the list going forward. But I always miss not having 3 E-strikes. It's such a good card.
Yeah. It's a good one, but I mean, it's yeah, I often look at E-strike as a glue card uh, because it usually fills multiple purposes, rarely either amazingly well. I think it's good to be able to have 5 go again at some times, or just uh, pitch a red card for 7 damage with this, or
Yeah.
just get this back with remembrance if you happen to run that in longer grinder games with like 7 damage has to be blocked.
Yeah, I'd say E-strike feels a slightly more meaningful thing in Guardians in general, but maybe in Victor specifically in the fact in the sense that you can um, if you send, for example, a Spinal Crush into an aggressive deck, they'll
Mm,
probably just block with their whole hand or most of their hand and then don't attack you.
mm,
So you can be stuck with like 3 blues and a red and do 4 card 7 or something like that, which is
Yeah.
not all that interesting. And having an E-strike in Arsenal then allows you to go 5 into disruption or 5 into something else. So it has that role as well in the aggressive matchups, like extend your and actually make you convert more of your hand.
So it's one of those cards that you happily put into your arsenal,
I'm happy
which
to
I
put it into the
guess.
arsenal. I'm happy to block with it. I'm happy to
Yeah.
attack with it. It's just in general, I really like it, but I don't run it in all matchups. It's only a 5 on the like printed value of it, and that's quite important. I mostly want to run 6s or aboves to win clashes.
Yeah, makes sense. But I guess we can get back to if you would happen to play another PQ tomorrow, what would you do? Would you submit the same deck list or not? But let's just run through like the card choices to begin with.
Yeah, and in general, it's a fairly standard victor list. I'd say the more like maybe not spicy, but quite uncommon stuff are the fault lines and the yellow funks. I really like fault line. I started playing with it fairly recently, like maybe a month ago or something like that. And it's just another one of those pieces where you can block 2 cards and pitch a blue and send this, and it's usually something the opponent has to deal with. Most people will have something in their arsenal they want to keep, and so they have to put more than 1 card in front of it or give you equipment for just a very standard attack. So, and the 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 like side effect of bottoming your own arsenal is very rarely a problem. It would be unfortunate, like you could bottom a pummel or something if you put it there and you can't use it on the fault line, but it's not something I run into at all today.
And it's also if the worst come to worst and you happen to arsenaling like anything unwillingly from Schism of Chaos, you
Yeah,
can use this to get rid of it.
yeah, and also Codex of Inertia,
Yeah, but you
which
do get
is
inertia,
yeah,
so you're
yeah,
not locking your arsenal. Fortunately for you.
yes, it is one of those. No, I like the card. It's like one of those cards that a lot of the problematic matchups don't like dealing with. So Mario usually wants to put like reactions in the arsenal, or
Mm.
Osilio wants to have the like gun in a flash or something in the arsenal. So Fault Line has really overperformed, I'd say. And then it's a decent stat. It's 3 for 7. So
Absolutely. Or if it happen to come in as a 3 for 8, it's a lot of damage for a
yeah,
2-card hand.
yeah. So I really like Fault Line. I'm surprised more people aren't playing it. And in general, if you look at the list, the only attack that I want to play that costs more than 3 is Spinal Crush. So I've gone off Debilitate and Choke Slam and those attacks that a lot of other people are running
Yeah.
in favor of having the uh, two-hand disruption plays. So Spinal Crush is so good that I run it in a way. And then of course we have like Golden Suns and the blues, but the red cards I'm not running Choke Slam. I'm not running Debilitate. What's
No.
your staples of a lot of Guardian decks?
When would you like? I mean, the red debilitate it still cost 5, of course, but it's a 9.
Yeah, red
Um,
disable.
no, pardon, wrong card. So what is the stat line on debilitate?
Yeah,
The red debilitate.
I don't run debilitate at all. I don't run it in the blue base either.
I'm just curious for the sake of it. Debilitate. This one.
Yeah,
How often is the blue one I've seen a lot of times. How often do you see the red one?
The red ones did in the callings last weekend. It was in quite a few victor lists. It's quite good into like the assassins or something. Like they want to do a dagger first, and then like that's -2.
Mm.
So like it's another one of those cards you force. Uh, People are forced to deal with you most of the times. So you could read it as 4 for 10,
Yeah.
but if you compare it to fault line, for example, you do need tunic counter for this
Yeah.
to play it on a 2-card hand, and I
Mm.
really like not being able to go off tunic quite a lot.
Yeah. It makes sense. So if in general you could say, if I understood correctly, that the red cards are either like very high value block cards, like
Yeah,
Trounce, Test of Eye Grip, Test of Strength, a couple of pummels, but the attacks all has irrelevant on hit, and that's it.
yeah. And then the yellow funks is something that I've been running for a while. I've cut down to 2 of them now. I used to run 3. I like them. They always overperform in some senses. Like you draw them, you block with them. They're free. Sometimes you just send them if you have nothing better to send, but they're not like great stats wise. But having a card that you can in the sort of resource base, which the yellow cards would be, that also like blocks, it pops, it does a lot of things. Uh, I, I I really like Yellow Funk. I'm guessing there are better cards to play in the spot. Maybe you should play some other blue card instead. But they're really nice to have. There weren't any prisms today
Yeah.
in Stockholm, but they're really nice to have in Prism. You can discard them to destroy the library, and you can pitch them if you want in the library to get an extra card. It's like just in general, it's an all-around nice card. I really like it, and you do clash quite a lot with this deck, both with millers and all the clash cards. So I'd say I'll hit a funk usually 2 or 3 times every game, either blue or yellow, and the extra value from them are is really like, because that is like one of the things Victor do. You just create more value. Everything generates like a little bit extra compared to many other decks.
Yes. And I think that's a really important thing that you mentioned here at Lee. Like the +1, it's not only it's +1 value, but it also makes a couple of cards increasingly annoying. Like C and C47 is
Yeah,
way more annoying to deal with than C and C46.
yeah.
And since you have 8 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 14 clash cards if I
14
do.
clash cards as well as millers.
Millers as well. So, okay, so 14 clash cards plus millers, grindstone. And whenever you hit one of these, it can make your on hits way more hard to deal with.
Yeah,
So I wouldn't be sure what I would want instead of yellow thunk.
I
Actually.
I haven't been able to find. So I'm guessing you could run some other blue sixes like buckling blow or something. Yes, because there wasn't any huntsman today because you didn't play. But having 5 cards with the same name in the deck is a bit of a risk into huntsman.
Yeah, it makes sense, but how often, we're looking at your blue base, what cards are you seriously considering playing every now and then? Because I would guess there are a couple of ones that are only here to block with and or win clashes with.
It's a bit like Cranial Crush is good in certain matchups. Like it's not. it's not very good into, since there aren't that many brutes running around anymore. It used to be really good into KO because you force them to deal with it ahead of a blood rush. It's really good into Auxilio. If they have a Sigil Brilliance out, they need to block the Cranial Crush. The headbutts are a really nice, I think, a very underrated card. I'd say it's one of the strongest blues in Victor's arsenal right now. It can fuck with a lot of decks that wanna that are attached to their like one block headpiece, as you force them to defend the random blue card, and it's also not to be underestimated as a finisher. If people are conserve their armor into you, and you do visit into headbutt, they can't block with their armor. Like that is one card that of course, I mostly pitch it and block with it, but it is a very good card to play. And then like some of the cards are just big numbers late game, so you would Macho Grande, Thunderquake, Disable, all of them are late game worth playing because they usually take 2 or 3 cards from the opponent.
Is right behind you always run in Victor?
A lot of decks run it at least. It's really good because it conserves a lot of gold. You can opt away a visit or another block card or something when you're blocking. So if you're blocking with Test of Iron Grip, for example, and that is a block for 7, and you get to opt before you do the clash.
It makes sense. And since you don't have a problem blocking with 2 cards anyway, so you rarely lose value because of the text here.
No, and you can block a dagger with it into assassins, for example. Like if they sent a Hunter's Clave, you can just put one of these in front of it. It's not.
Yeah, and that
you
is
don't
still a
lose.
good block. It will probably wouldn't like most pumps would make it go over anyway.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if it's a 2 or 3 block.
Yeah. So I like right behind you. You can also block with 2 right behind you and opt 2. It's really nice late game if you know you're approaching your stack. I did it in the finals today. Blocked a card for 6, opt 2, and then I knew I was drawing into my first stack hand.
It makes sense. And I thought you said was Clash of Bravado, is that a standard as well?
Yeah, I think it's fairly standard. I've seen some people running 2 of them. I think it's really strong. I really like the card. It's in some matches it doesn't do all that much, but just clashing, even if the effect isn't relevant at all, since you're running 5 Thunks and 3 Golden Suns, a lot of the time you'll just randomly clash into like a Golden Sun and make a gold, or a Thunk and make a might. So it's functionally often quite like a block 4. And then it's even better if you, for example, I think I won my game into a Vincent player today by destroying one of their rune chants, so they couldn't play the new blue Runegate card. What's it called? Deep Recesses of something.
Yeah, I don't remember either, but it's a good one.
Yeah.
And I mean, once you face, for example, Vincent and stuff like that, like against Prism, Jarl, Vincent. I mean, maybe Jarl maybe doesn't bring CLFs anyway, but you can destroy aura.
I did destroy a CLF with it today.
Okay, you did, yeah.
Into Prism, it's insane because you can, if they play out the thing that removes Phantasm, you can destroy it with the clash and then pop.
Yeah, like the Prism matchup seems it was bad before this. I would have guessed, and this makes it awful, I imagine.
Yes, and you can also break, now that you can clash into angels, you can break the ALS lock with it.
Yeah. So like the only thing Prism had was, or realistically the thing Prism had was ALS lock, and this just destroys that as well.
Yes, and in a pinch you can discard it to destroy library.
Yeah. So yeah, seems like a rough game for Prism nowadays.
Yeah. Clash of Bravado is right now at least it's a really good card. It's really good into like one of the really hard matchups for Victor is Volda,
Mm.
but you can destroy the ley line with it if
Yeah,
you're lucky,
that's a
which
good one as
is
well.
yeah, it's really fantastic. Or you can just destroy a seismic search token, so they only have two going into the next round and don't get dominate.
Yeah.
It's usually so much value, and then in some matchups it's functionally a block free, like and then
Yeah, and
sometimes it's a Thunk or a Golden Sun.
for your sake, this has no drawback. Like
Yeah.
if you lose test of iron grip, that can be devastating.
Yeah, I did lose a seismic surge today, and I lost a might as well, I think. But that's just the price of doing business.
Yeah, I mean
I think if you're playing Victor, you can't get too attached to winning all the clashes. You're gonna lose. Like you're gonna give your opponent's gold, you're gonna give your opponent's might.
yeah,
It's just par for the course because you're running so many misses in the deck. So
yeah, it makes sense. But leaving the main deck, you spoke a bit about E-Strike. For how you like it so much, maybe three would be the right number. And I see you have included like two tech pieces in form of weakest link and race phase.
yeah, E-Phase and Weakest Link are part of the uh, like anti-Ocilio part of the like. Generally run sort of the same deck in most matchups, and Ocilio is one of the ones where I kind of transform the deck quite a lot. So
Mm.
Weakest Links and E-Phase comes into Ocilio. They come in against Dio. They're really good there as well. Um, I take out Spinal Crush, for example, because I rarely get to play it in those matchups. I can seldom keep free cards.
Yeah.
But so this falls into just like Fault Line and CNC. This is two card disruption that the opponent has to deal with.
Mm. That makes sense.
And I put in shelters. Usually, I swap them for pummels in a lot of matchups. So I'll put in like the defensive packages, swapping out Rouse and Pummels for E-Strikes and Shelters, and swapping the Crown of Dominion for Crown of Providence, and the Tunic for Tech Plate.
Yeah. Alrighty. So, if you would happen to play another Brokers tomorrow, do you think you would make any changes to the deck?
Mm, well, I kind of like it. I'm sure there are better versions of this deck if you think about it. But if I knew that the Auxilio, um, if there would be quite few Auxilio players, and maybe we would go down to just AB, just have the AB boots, and then add another E-Strike and some other tech card. I'm not sure which. Maybe either a third Shelter or a third Weakest Link.
Hmm. Because it seems like the core of the deck is pretty big. Like there are a lot of cards that you usually don't change at all.
Yeah, like most of the deck is fairly locked. There's Spinal Crushes go out in some matchups. Pummels go out in quite a few matches, and Rouse go out in some matches as well, because I don't like running two blocks if I think I'm gonna be blocking quite a lot.
Yeah.
But I also don't always run lean 60, so in the Guardian mirrors, I just add E-Strike and Shelter to the main deck.
You never remove block cards in Garden Mirror either.
No, I used to remove block cards when facing like
Not even Trounce.
no, no. That is that is like percentage-wise, I'm running yellow Funk instead of a blue 6, so I'm slightly better at clashing than
Yeah.
the average um, Victor or Guardian deck. So it's no, I very rarely remove the I I think I removed. No, I never removed any of the block cards today.
Right.
There might be a case for it into removing like test and bullshit at least into Tough Nut or
How about Valda?
Reiner, because it's basically only a downside for you.
Yeah.
They clash really well, and they rarely have cards in hand when you're blocking with it.
That makes sense. And Valda, you would have to you need the card to.
Yeah, but Valda runs quite a few misses.
Okay. Mm.
So they're running big attacks. So you're gonna lose clashes. I lost clashes today into pulverize and stuff, but when I faced Valda, but it's still good enough. I think I discarded a pummel in that matchup with test of Iron Grip, and I got a lot of gold as well. So.
Alrighty. So right, so that's the deck, and if we're gonna move on to today's Pro Quest,
Yep.
there were 5 rounds plus 3, of course, leading up to the finals. So you were undefeated through all 8 of the rounds.
Yeah.
So what were your matchups? Or
My
by the way, just let's start at round one, make it easier.
yeah. Round one was I faced one of our newer local players, Lova. He played Ira, but his deck was more or less the Ira Armory deck, with some cards swapped out, but it was kind of down powered. So playing a fully blinged up, or not blinged up, but fully decked out Victor deck into that, it's because it's already a good matchup for Victor. Like Ira wants to attack 2, maybe 3 times every turn, so it's like the perfect amount for Victor to block.
Yeah.
And they don't clash that well. So it's already a great matchup, and then playing a lower powered version of the deck. I think I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but I think I was on like 18 or 20 or something like that when he died.
Yeah, I would imagine, like just as you said, like the matchup should be favored to begin with, because of like even if Ira happened to be like the fatigue pile value deck, I still don't see how they will beat a Victor deck.
Nah, that's really good. Like I'd say it's a fairly heavily favored matchup. Uh, uh, like it's like all matchups, it's losable. Like you lose enough clashes to just random dumb luck,
Yeah,
you're gonna lose the game because the whole value proposition is the gold and drawing extra cards and stuff. So if you start losing clashes or uh, like one of the worst things you can do is if you have the starting gold from the crown and then you lose a clash early on and use the gold to redo the clash and lose the clash, that lowers the win percentage quite a lot, I'd
yeah.
say.
And then you don't see riches or Goldman Estate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Goldman Estate turns into nothing if you don't have one gold at least. So it's
Don't you get a gold?
you get a gold, but you don't get any might.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, at least if you get you need your gold production started
Yeah,
again.
but then you're not having the payoff that you want from the card. I
No,
I'd be very desperate if I play a visit without generating any might.
makes sense.
Uh, that that being said, he also made a very unfortunate mistake. He ran the helmet where he can discard a card to search the what's it called, whirling mist bloom or something like that. And he played all 3 of them and then tried to search again. He forgot he played all 3.
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah,
Mist Blossom, yeah, that's the one.
yeah. Using this to
Uh,
get the other one.
and I tried to catch him, but he picked up the deck and started searching before I was able to say anything. So
Okay.
it was unfortunate for him that he basically just discarded a card for no reason.
Yeah,
But shit happens. Like
yeah,
I think it was his first like bigger tournament, and he he played an underpowered deck to a decent result in the end, anyways. So I think it was hats off to him for that. I hope
Yeah.
he shows up at more tournaments. He's a
Yeah,
nice lad.
I looked at the player list and I was happy to see a couple of new names in there.
Yeah,
So it's a
yeah,
good thing. More people are trying out the game in Stockholm.
yeah. It was nice to see some of the newer players that have been showing up to Armories also showing up to the ProQuest.
Yeah.
So that was nice. But
So
all in all, it was a fairly decently safe game. I didn't. I never really felt threatened. Um,
round two.
Round two was into one of the OG players of Fab in Stockholm, Henrik Montin, playing Valda, which is one of the worst matchups for Victor, I'd say. That said, he had never played deck before. He got a bye round one, so it was his first game ever for him playing Valda. So I'm guessing that took some of the stuffing out of the deck. And I my deck draw decently. I got to send like big attack, block quite a lot. He didn't dominate that many very like bad attacks for me. I think every time he played his specialization, he wasn't dominated, so I was just able to block 7 and take 3 and then send something back. He pulverized me once, so I just blocked with the whole hand and moved on. But in general, it was I won a lot of the clashes. I did lose some, but I won most of the clashes, so I got a decent chunk of gold. So when the visits came around, second cycle, I was just big attacks, and that was my first time running the shield beater into Guardians, and it's really nice. It is a big, it is a big difference running shield beater compared to I think he was running Titan's Fist.
Yep.
It is a big difference. It's only like 1 or 2 more, but it adds up quite a lot, especially if you add on like 1 or 2 mites.
Yep. Yep.
It is a big bonk.
Yeah.
So deck performed well. I think I was on somewhere between 15 and 18 when he died. A bit unsure. He did see Leyline fairly late in the game, and was forced to pitch it to send something back against me. So that of course helped quite a lot. And
Yeah, I was just about to say it should be could make a difference how depending on how early you see the ley line, because
yeah, if
that's
they
like
see
one of the key
Leyline
cards.
turn 0, it's usually just a loss.
So round three.
Round 3 was into my eventual finals opponent, Nick, a young guy from Karlstad. Really decent chap. We've been playing quite a lot of the same heroes for a while. We both played a lot of KO. He plays Jarl now, or at least today he played Jarl, and I like Jarl as well. So, like the Jarl matchup is very good for Victor. They have fused Oak and Old, which is annoying, but Fellings basically just help you pitch stack. So you clash so much better because they have so many misses, and a lot of their attacks, like Felling and Plow Under and stuff, don't have big numbers printed on them. So you clash really well into them. So you just stack gold, stack visits, stack Golden Suns together. Try not to take too much damage. Try to keep the tunic alive.
Yeah, I was just about to say how much do you care about your equipment, and I would imagine tunic is the only important piece.
The tunic is the only important piece. Usually I put most of the other equipment because I'm running Crown of Providence and not Crown of Dominion in the matchup. So running Crown of Providence, Gauntlets, and Shield, you put that with a free block that covers up a fused Oak and Old the first time.
Yeah.
So that's 1 in 3 dealt with, basically.
Mm.
And he did swing to fused Oak and Olds into me, as well as there was like a period in this game where he would go like Oak and Old, Felling, Oak and Old, Felling. And you just you block, try to keep the life total high, maybe swing back the hammer.
Yep.
And I was running the shield beater in this matchup. He was on that one in the finals, but in this game he was running Titan's Fist.
Mm.
And again, swinging for 5 is a lot better than swinging for 3, which is quite often what you swing with the hammer in Jarl. So uh, I won't say it was an easy game, but I do know the game plan for it quite well. Just keep stacking.
Mm.
And then when you have 5 or 6 golds and the visits and golden suns comes around, just play them and get big attacks.
Yeah, because you are not in a rush at all.
No.
In that matchup, and you didn't even need. You don't run Remembrance, and
No,
I
I
guess
don't
those
run
aren't needed.
Remembrance, which is a card I think should be banned.
Yeah.
It is very good in Victor if you're running sort of fatigue Victors. You can play visits, all the visits once more. It's a fantastic card in Victor. So I get people running Remembrance. That might be the biggest difference between my list and a lot of the other lists. Is I don't run Remembrance. I hope it gets banned on Monday.
Yeah.
We'll see, but it's definitely a good card that I'm not running, and it is for the very easy reason that I don't like non-block cards.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Don't will clashes doesn't block.
Yeah, and I already run Riches, which is feels natural for me. So
Yeah, that role of not being able to block.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Riches at least is really good to pitch into quick dodge flexers, or
Yes, it's better.
it's insane against Vincent, for example, if they come with Rune Chance and you pitch Riches into the Rune Chance and you draw
Yeah.
another card, which happened in the next game in round 4.
Yeah.
So I was locked for top 8 after going 3-0, which was nice. I'm not used to being locked for top 8 so early on. I usually have a win and in round 5, and occasionally get to top 8. So that was nice. It was a nice feeling to be able to play a bit more relaxed and like enjoy the show a bit. And in round 4, I got to play I think, Sweden's undisputedly best player, just in general, Jakob.
He's only one-time national champ.
That is true. Niklas has won twice, but
Yeah.
Jakob is so good on the big stage.
A very good player.
He is a very, very good player. I have immense respect for him, and I'd say I mostly lose to him almost every time we play. He's just he's on another level as a player. And he was playing Vincent, which is a decent matchup for Victor. It's got to be said. It's not bad at all. And I think it was his first event running the deck. I don't know how much he played it on like Talisha or something before, but he didn't have that many reps into it into the deck. So I'm sure that affected the outcome of it. It was a really, really close game that ended up with him basically being fatigued and dying from. Well, he was about to die from blood depth, but he swung with the whip to kill himself. To go out in style.
I guess Vincent has to build up a couple of auras and cards in blood depth to make a couple of really, really big turns.
That was the one thing he didn't do quite a lot that a lot of other Vincent players have been doing into me. They tried to go like a free rune gate wide and then build up, build up, build up. He sent quite a lot of attacks with just one, say, 4 rune chance and a big attack. And it might be that he should have went for the bigger turns, but it also took a lot of pressure off him, because what usually happens when Vincent's try to set up quite a lot into Victor is you can just beat them to a pulp with big attacks. So while they're losing free blood depth every turn, you're also hitting them for 10 or something with on hits, pummels and stuff. So it is quite risky, I think, to do the big setup thing into Victor.
But is it? Do you think it's good enough to send smaller turns?
he didn't win. I don't know
No.
how results oriented you want to think about it. It might be that he should have stacked up for bigger turns, but then again, I would have been able to put on a lot more pressure. So it's a hard counterfactual to play out.
Yeah.
I'd say this was one of the harder Vincent games that I've played as Victor. Because you're running so many blues in the deck, you can usually block out all rune chant damage that they send you. So the matchup is usually quite well because a lot of the times they rely on dealing damage with the rune chants to be able to play is it called Succumb to Temptation? The yellow thing.
This is a really good disruption piece.
Yeah. Yeah, Succumb to Temptation. Yeah. That one, or playing Cull or something to just regain an action point in between. And Jakob's list was a lot higher on Go again, so he would usually like banish something with his cards from either like he would Cull me and himself and take away a card that he would, so he could go one more rune gate and so on. It did take him a while to set up the Malefics, so he never really got those really explosive Malefic turns off. And I was lucky when he was about to do a 2 rune gate turn, something into deep recesses. I could I blocked with a Clash of Bravado and destroyed one of the. Oh yeah, it was a Deathly Whale. So he was about to get 2 because he had done the Vincent thing of ensuring damage. So he was about to get 2 rune chants from the Deathly Whale, and he got 1 from the Malefic. So I know he was about to get. Oh no, he had 2 from Malefics, so he was about to get 4 to be able to play the deep recesses. So I could block with a Clash of Bravado, destroy one of the rune chants, and make him not be able to go as wide as he wanted to. It was a really rough match. I'm guessing if he gets a few more reps on the deck, I'm not beating him next time, but we'll see. He, as I said, he fatigued in the end. I think he had 2 cards left in deck when he died from Blood Debt.
All right, so you're 4-0 at this point,
Yeah.
and which is the round? Who is the round 5 opponent?
The round 5 opponent is another very good local player of ours, Italo. He was playing Kasai. And Kasai is a fairly decent matchup for Victor. They want to attack a lot. They want you to block with attack action cards, but your block cards aren't attack action cards, so that you force them to play go again cards instead of just getting go again from Hot Streak, for example, and they don't get extra value from the Centauri Saber every turn and so on. That said, Raise an Army can be an absolute backbreaker for Victor.
Yeah.
And he actually did get a really big Raise an Army off late game because he played the card from Pen where you turn energy tokens on the energy counters on the tunic into gold. So he destroyed he took out my tunic.
Hey.
There it is, high current currency. He took out two energy counters from my tunic and turned it into gold, and then made 3 Centauri sellswords with Raise an Army.
That is awesome. I never seen this card being played.
Yeah, it was really. I saw him pitch and I was like, "What the fuck is that card?" And I was like, "Oh shit!" So that didn't really work out great. But the thing is, he was so low at that point that he had to block most of the time. So he never swung a single Centauri sellsword after that into me.
Yeah, because I mean, the Kasai has some. she has some reaction speed damage, but a lot of her reactions just buffs the next attack instead. So I think they have to line up the things
Yeah, it's
for them. They have to win clashes and get cell swords going.
Yeah, and it's fairly decent. Like they don't run that many attacks, or I don't think he ran any attacks. So I basically default win every clash unless I clash into a miss. Uh, and as you said, there's very little damage that goes above my blocks, so it's mostly like buff the next one, buff the next one. So blocking into Kasai is it might take a few cards, but it's fairly straightforward.
Yeah, they would need like really good turns with both copper and gold generation.
Yeah,
I
and I
guess.
think he made one copper for the whole game.
Yeah.
And something like that. Yeah. So he did sort of get fatigued in the end. He ran out of both cards and life. So at that point I was 5-0, something that I've never been in these sort of like road to nationals or whatever. So it was nice. It was a new experience for me. And we had a little break. Got some air. It's for those people who know Alpha knows that it's the place we're playing. It gets really hot, especially during like sunny days. Like today was a beautiful day. So went outside, get some air. We took a top 8 photo of all the guys. Had a burger and then reset for quarterfinals.
So have this here. Here you in your quarterfinal opponents was Niklas Bengtsson, current and two-time national champion in Sweden.
Yes. Are you showing the picture of the top 8 people?
Yes. No, I guess I could. Well, I have to edit it in here.
Yeah, but in general, I think I don't know if I can do it from memory. It was me and Niklas, of course, who we also mentioned, who played Mario. There was Jakob Trossing and Italo, who I met, as well as Nick. Peter, a local from Sweden, playing Vincent.
From Hungary.
He's Hungarian,
mind
but
you.
he's a local from Stockholm. And I'm missing someone.
This is here. Klas, Niklas, Thomas, and
Yeah,
Björn,
Thomas.
Andreas Bengtsson.
Yeah,
Andreas Björnsson, I mean.
Björnsson. Yeah, Andreas and Thomas also. All the guests from Karlstad came top 8, so that was nice for them.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, Andreas, and Niklas all came top 8, and then Skarpnäck, the part of the city, Stockholm, where you and I both live. We also had 100% top 8 with me and Thomas being in the top. So that was nice, and we met in the semifinals. That was really nice, ensuring Skarpnäck participation in the finals was nice. It was a lovely day out, but then we head into play the quarterfinals, and I've been playing a bit with Niklas and leading up to the event, and it's not been looking good. I think I've lost maybe 3/4 of the games we played like the last week, so I wasn't feeling very confident going into the game. I thought
he's on Mario.
yeah, he's on Mario.
We spoke about this at the beginning of the video, but Mario usually has like reaction speed damage, which can be tough to deal with for Victor.
Yeah. But my deck was really cooperative in this match. It really wanted to win. So like I got a lot of block cards early on, generated quite a bit of gold, and then I could play visit, big attack, visit, big attack, visit, and I think the straw that broke the camel's back was sort of a golden sun for 15 or something like that. He survived it, but after that he basically had to give me 2 or 3 cards every turn to just stay alive.
Yeah, because like if Mario, I mean, did he run the stealth build or dagger build?
Dagger build.
Dagger build. So that means he does run a couple of 2 blocks, which is not that awesome into Victor. Well, I mean, they're good, but they don't block well.
Yeah.
And that makes it so that if if Mario falls behind, they have a hard time. It's a lot harder to come back once you can't keep 4 or 5 cards. And when Mario is down to keeping 2 card hands, what they do rarely matters because Victor is so fine with blocking with 2 or even 3 cards every turn and can still send at least 4 just by the grindstone.
Yeah, and I think some of my I don't remember exactly, but I think some of my tests of Iron Grips really um, hit hit on turns where he wanted to go wide or wanted to buffle quite a lot and stuff. And just in general, I don't think he got full value from any T-Tox during the entire game. He also made a small mistake. He buffed the Calicera with the um, Black Widow effect,
Mm.
and then thought it was like not thought, but he mistakenly thought that it was like Kiss Death that you could flick it later on.
No.
So that was like a small misplay on his part or misthink, whatever you wanna.
It's a weird rules interaction. Like for,
Yeah.
for those who doesn't know, you can, if you use, I just show it, Black Widow, if you use this spider form to discard, or any spider form that that gives non-hit, you play Kiss of Death, which is a dagger stealth attack to begin with. You buff it with this, and give the Kiss of Death go again in some way. The next or a later chain link, you can actually use flick knives to throw that Kiss of Death at the opponent, which would trigger the banish a card from hand effect again. The issue being that you can, or the issue in this case being that you can use this to buff a graphene, like the little pokey dagger Mario has. But if you flick the dagger, this effect doesn't stay on, and it's some weird rule interaction because when you attack with a weapon, that creates an attack proxy on the chain link, but it's not an actual attack that can be interacted with, or however I'm supposed to explain that. But it's a weird thing because it would make sense to be able to throw your graphene. You can still do that, but the effect doesn't come with it.
Yeah.
So it's a simple mistake to make, and if I understood correctly, Niklas hasn't been on Mario for that long either. So I think he should know by now, and he will remember this, I guess. But it makes a lot of sense to believe that you can do that to begin with.
Yeah. But just in general, it was the sort of traditional thing when you're winning like low percentage matchups where my deck drew really well and his deck didn't really want to win.
Yeah.
And so it was that was very unfortunate for him, but very fortunate for me. I'm happy I got to win.
Skill gapped quarterfinals opponents, got it.
Very much not.
Yeah. So how about semifinals?
The semifinals was into our very good friend Thomas, a local fellow fab dad from Skarpnäck, who've been playing with us for quite a while, playing Katsu, and he's really good on Katsu. It's gonna be said. Like I don't really think Katsu is all that great, but he's really great at Katsu.
Mhm.
So it was a very, very tight game. I did one quite big mistake. He had 2 of the shuriken stuffs out that can. He was running wind cutter with shuriken, and he attacked me for 6. It has to be something like that, and I blocked. No, yeah, something. He attacked me for some amount, not that all. I think 5 maybe, and I blocked over by 1 using the shield instead of my arms. So he could he could use the shurikens to get on top of that attack, because the gauntlets of Iron Will would have reduced so he was able to turn what would have been a very middling turn into bonds line into dishonor. So I took so much damage from not using the Gauntlet's Iron Will correctly. And it almost lost me the game. And he sequenced the combo turns really well. He popped a mistake that some ninja players make is they wait on popping the pouncing links. Like, oh, I hit now. Instead of just they try to preserve information, I think, but it's really important to be able to get the specific cards that you want. And also, it's going to be said against Victor, it's really important to use the Katsu ability to get cards out of your hands and into your banish zone so you don't lose them to Test of Iron Grip, which he did masterfully a turn later, where I had 2 Tests of Iron Grip and got 0 cards from his hand, basically. Fortunately for me, there was a Thunk on top, so it netted me 2 mites at least and blocked 8. But no, Thomas played really, really well. It was a really close game. Sometimes when we play this game, I just block efficiently and win. And of course Thomas wins sometimes, but it should be very Mario favored. No, very
Victor favored.
Very Victor favored. But Thomas played it really well. I did at least one mistake that I know. So it turned really tight, but I managed to finish him off. He was on 11 and I sent a Golden Sun for 19.
Yeah.
So that ended the game quite abruptly.
Yeah. Let's see. So now you're in the finals and it's a rematch.
Yeah, it's a rematch against Nick, and it played out very much like the first game we played, but almost a little better. He drew quite unfortunately. I sent a few CNCs his way early on, and all of those times he had 3 or more directs in hand or arsenal.
Yeah.
So he lost so much value from not being able to block efficiently and and so on. And he only played 1 Oakenold, and as I said before, I can deal with 1 Oakenold with just using equipment. And I managed to get a fantastic stack. The first 2 times he sent Felling my way, I had a visit in hand, so I could just swap it down and then draw into a Golden Sun that I could pitch the next turn. So I knew that when I came to my stack, there would be visit Golden Sun, visit Golden Sun, visit Golden Sun. So I finished the game off just going visit, put a Golden Sun in arsenal, play the next visit, play a Golden Sun for 17. Next round, the next visit, play a Golden Sun for 18. He died on that one, but otherwise I would have had a Golden Sun for 18 the round after that one as well. So stacking into Jarl is fairly straightforward as Victor, and it's a quite easy game plan to just block until you have gold and you can send big attacks.
Yeah, it makes sense. You told us earlier about how it's a tough matchup for Jarl in so many ways.
Yeah.
And I guess I could edit in your goal full opening here as well.
All the Yankees.
The mic is hot, please. No, I refuse.
Yeah.
But it's awesome that you got something useful.
Yeah, I got beaten trackers, which is very nice. I can run them in Sage, but I guess I'll be selling them. I don't care that much about bling.
Until now. It's never too late to get started.
We'll see. We'll see if I keep them or if I get a decent offer. No, it was really nice opening beaten trackers. I've been running them in Sage and I've been with KO. Fortunately, I don't get to play them in CC since KO is a little bit. I usually run scabs anyway, so we'll see what happens to the. But it's really nice opening. opening a gold foil for that was something useful.
Yeah, that is awesome. I mean, there is always a fear of Bunker Beard and
Yeah.
Coat of Frost.
Yeah. The but it was at least it wasn't the new Fang helmet that everyone has been opening in Sweden this season.
Don't even know which one that. I think I've seen it. I don't remember what it's
No,
called.
it's called Search Fealty. I don't know what it's called. It makes you not being able to destroy
Yeah,
fealty tokens.
Dynastic Diadem.
There it is. I think we have 3 of those opened in Sweden this season.
Tokens you. Ew. And it's majestic.
Yeah.
Why you do that? All right, this is not a good one. I mean, I only see it looked nice in the picture from the full art one, but I think you got the tall end of the stick.
I like beaten trackers. I
Yeah.
like playing, so we'll see. It's a nice card.
That is awesome. So we've been talking for about roughly 70 minutes, but is there anything you would like to add before we wrap up?
Just if you're curious about playing Victor, now is a good time to play Victor. I'm guessing with the new illusionist approaching rapidly, it's gonna be back to the end of the
C
line
tier.
again
Yeah.
as soon as Omen comes out. Once it comes out. So if you're Victor curious, make sure to explore it now.
Yeah.
That being said, I'd also like to shout out to all the people that I grind games on Talishar with on a daily basis, like Rickard and
Johnny Dennis.
Johnny and Dennis and Niklas Bengtsson as well, my quarterfinals matchup. It's and you for that matter. It's been really helped me develop over the last year as a player. Just being able to play a lot into very good players.
Yeah, I think it's a very good recommendation. It might be obvious, but it's still worth considering. Like it's a very good thing to have other people look at your gameplay. While you're in, if you're, for example, is playing the Teleshare games in a Discord with people watching, either one or two of the players, you have to think twice about what lines you're picking and why, because other people might consider different lines than you. And it's a good thing to talk about those things because it makes you improve a lot quicker than if you were supposed to do everything on your own, and because you will miss stuff.
Yes, and also not playing into randoms on Teleshare means you're playing into people. Like there are good players on Teleshare. I'm not winning every game. I'm gonna play into randoms on Teleshare. I'm not saying that one, but knowing that your opponent is a decent player is also worth quite a lot. Like because the time you invest in the game, you can talk about the game with each other. It's highly recommended to not just play into, because having a high win rate on Teleshare, I don't think that automatically leads to having a good results in IRL tournaments.
No, I think not. Yeah,
that's it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Very, very insightful. I mean, I've only been playing into Victor, never understood that much about what's the purpose of different cards. So it was good hearing you explaining them to me.
Insightful or self-indulgent, we'll see.
Either or both. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for participating, and thank you, whoever is watching. Thank you so much for taking time. And we might be. Was this the last weekend of ProQuests?
Yes, there's the bannings after the ProQuest season on Monday.
So I guess we hope Remembrance get axed.
That would be
It would
nice.
be awesome. I don't keep my hopes up. But I mean, good luck to anyone in their next event, whether it's an armor or a calling or anything in between.
Yeah.
So take care till then.
Take care.